Good morning, everybody. My name's Paul Church from Clarity Craft here in the UK, and it's that time of the month again where we're joined.
Don't say it like that.
Joined
Sorry.
by the lovely Deborah Wheeler. Good morning. I nearly said good afternoon.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Getting ahead of yourself.
Yeah, I know. So how are you? Been well?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Good. So you're okay.
Not the best few weeks. We said goodbye to one of our little cats. So
Aww.
I know. It's always hard, but it's the right thing to do. And so, but yeah.
But apart from that, you've been crafting.
I've been crafting, slaving away over a hot craft desk, prepping for this, prepping for open days.
Yes, just around this time. Where are we now?
This time next week, we'll be at the open days. We'll be in there, off and running.
We will indeed. Yes, 10 o'clock. The doors would have opened at 9. Yeah, looking forward to that. I'm doing something new at the open days. You've had a sneaky peek of it.
I have.
You can't say anything.
No, sworn to secrecy. Sworn to secrecy. So it's not tap dancing then.
No, I can't. No, there's no taps in there. Lovely Jane Telford is in the room with you this morning. So if you have any questions, she's there to help. Hopefully I can see she's in the room already, along with some of our other lovely friends, our regulars. So if you've got any questions, Jane's there to help. She's going to pop the links up to anything if you're not sure about something. And if Jane's not sure, I mean, Jane knows everything.
Seriously, what doesn't Jane know? Jane Telford is an absolute guru.
She is. But if she's not sure, she sends me a text message through, and then I will say yes, no, or whatever.
We don't know either.
We don't know either. Yeah. So we'll just give it a few more minutes for our friends to find. So it's a lovely sunny day.
It's beautiful out there. Yeah.
Bank holiday weekend.
Yeah.
Approaching, and
it's going to rain, isn't it?
Is it?
I saw the forecast. There's rain forecast for the weekend. So
perfect opportunity to stay in and craft.
Bang on.
There you go. So we've currently got a promotion running. Barb kicked it off last night in the Shag, but it started at 6 o'clock last night. We'll just give you those details there. Double points when you spend over £50 this bank holiday. So what that means is once your basket gets to £50 between 6 o'clock last night up until midnight on Tuesday, you will receive double points on your order. Whether you order one, whether you're ordering twice, 3 times, doesn't matter. As long as those individual orders are over £50, then you will get double points. And I will be sorting out the points after the event has finished. So it doesn't do it automatically. So don't buy something and think, oh, I've only got single point. It's a manual process, but it's fairly easy to do.
Okay.
So they'll be on your account after the event has finished. That's on Wednesday. So during the course of Wednesday, Thursday, they will be added to your account then.
But great that you can do it on every order.
Yeah, every order.
You can do, provided it's over the £50 limit.
Yeah, as long as when you check out the total of your order after all your discounts.
I was just going to say, so that's, once your discounts are applied.
Yeah, because if you put your discounts on, it's obviously going to reduce your basket.
Exactly.
And if you're using, maybe you've got some loyalty points from the already, once that comes off as well. So the checkout has got to be £50.
The checkout amount.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they go. Apparently we're making Jane blush. I don't know what we said.
She likes pink. That's a good one.
She does indeed. So thank you for joining us. So just a little bit of housekeeping. So we've mentioned that offer we've got running over the weekend. So it might be the perfect opportunity. Maybe you've been thinking, you know what, I'm not sure about that, but now it may be the perfect opportunity to take advantage of that offer. Also, any special offers we've brought to you during the course of May, on the 1st of June, they revert back.
Yeah.
So what we try and do is, like, when we bring you special offers at the end of that month, they then revert back to the normal price. So again, maybe you're thinking, oh, I've been waiting for that one to get double points as well. Is an added bonus.
Yeah.
But you may be thinking, well, how do we order and everything else? So there's 2 ways in which you can order. There is the website across the bottom, which is claritycrafts.com. So you can go on there and place your order. You can give the office a call on 01732 868 215. We're open from 8 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. Monday to Friday. Obviously, we're closed Bank Holiday Monday.
Yeah.
So that's why the double points runs until Tuesday. So if you're tuning in over the weekend and you wasn't aware, then you've got that opportunity if you ring up to place your orders to do that on Tuesday as well. Now, the show products we're going to bring to you, Debs has been down into the stamp room and last month she chose some lovely designs. So the first collection we've got on the screen for you, you've got the 5-digit item number, which is 11593. This is a beautiful collection. It is a kaleidoscope of large butterflies, A6 stamp, mask, and dies collection.
Yeah.
Okay, really, it's that all-rounder because there's so many different things that you can do with them. So the normal RRP on this is £71.95. So you have a £20 savings, bringing it down to £51.95, plus your club discounts.
That'll get you your...
Yeah, because if you're a Diamond Club member, that brings it down to £44.16.
Okay.
So you'd have to put something else. But I know the perfect thing to put in there, which we're going to come to. No, we'll come to that to top it up. So don't check out your baskets yet.
Sorry, sorry, I catch up in the end.
And you can see there that price is £51.95. But if you're not a club member, then that would take you over your £50 to get you double points. Okay. Now, where was I going with that? I can't think where I was going with that. No, it's completely gone.
Yeah, we've got the dies and stamps.
We've got the dies and the stamps, and we've got that special offer as well. And that saving of £20 means you're only paying £5 for that die, because that's a £25 die. So you're paying for the stamps, and then it's £5 for that die.
Yeah.
And when you see what you can do, I'm going to just grab one of these. Look, isn't this beautiful? Let me just bring it in on the overhead. Woo, there we go.
Let me move this out of the way, and then we can see.
Look at this. It's beautiful, isn't it?
It's absolutely gorgeous. So they're 3D butterflies. Let me get in the right place. That's it. Maneuver about. So this is cut twice.
Yeah.
But there's two dies: a solid die and a and the pierced die. That's
right. So there
we go. Solid, pierced, and then the little stand.
Which is great, isn't it? So it's perfect for displaying, but also it all folds flat as well, doesn't it? So
it does.
It's great
so these,
for sending out in the post.
Yeah, really easy to send in the post because you just take them apart. Your stand folds flat. It's got a crease in it, and your butterfly will go flat as well. And they'll sit nicely in an envelope. Yeah. To then be put together. You might have to ring the person up and tell them how to, how to put it together.
It's fairly straightforward.
It's pretty obvious. The lovely thing is these little slots, you can see it here, are angled. So they're not sat completely central. It's deeper one side than the other.
So that it displays.
So when you pop your butterfly on, he or she is sat at a slight angle. So there we go. Look, let's do that.
Yes. So it's if it's taking flight.
Taking off, you can see it rather than it being sat flat.
It's lovely, isn't it? So this is the large collection. We then have a smaller collection. When I say smaller, I mean in size. So for example, if we put this one next to it, you can really see the difference in the size of the dies. Now for the smaller collection, the item number is 11594. You have a £10 saving, which again means you're only paying £5 for that die. And that brings it down to £34.95.
And just to show you the contrast in size in the finished product, here's a couple made by Jane, pink.
Lovely, aren't they?
Actually, let me swap them around. That way.
There we go.
They're just gorgeous. So she's cut with the solid base and stamped on it. And has then stamped on the card again, but then cut it out with the pierced one. If you can see that there.
Yeah.
There we go. And then stuck them together and they're in the stand. And then she's done the same with this, exactly the same design, but with the smaller one. So now you can really see the contrast between the two sizes.
I think it is, and there is a big difference in the size, isn't it?
Bigger than you think looking at the dies, actually. I think it's... and this is just so sweet.
And you know what? I think these are nice for like table settings. For weddings.
That's what I was thinking. Perfect.
Summer coming up. They're perfect for that, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just so very pretty.
So that is the smaller size. Now, what we also have for you is, let me just bring this up. Hang on a moment. There we go. Now, if you're into your groovy, we also have the designs available in groovy as well. And they've been designed to work perfectly with the
with
dies.
the dies.
Yeah. So, for example, I'm going to bring up the details on the screen of all of those groovy plates there. The item number for this is 42112. You're going to get 6 of the A6 groovy plates, and you can see you've got your 4 larger ones across the top, and then the 4 smaller ones on 2 plates. And then because they're an A6 plate, you've then got the spacer plate that works so that it holds it all in place within your starter kit. So you have a £15 saving on this collection, bringing it down to £34.75.
Before your before any
club
discount.
Discount at all. So this is going to be the main focus. Obviously, Debs isn't going to be working with the groovy, but I wanted to share that with you because maybe you weren't aware that because when we had our fresh cut die sale a couple of weeks ago, many people took advantage of dies, but may not have been aware that there were stamps to go with them, and also the groovy as well. So should we have a look at some of the artwork?
Yeah, let's. Because there's some amazing artwork.
There we go. I'm going to give you a couple of pieces.
I had trouble choosing this morning what we were going to show.
So we're looking at the larger set, smaller set first, aren't we?
Yes, this is the smaller set. Although there's a bit of mixing and matching going on.
I think it just shows the versatility, doesn't it?
It does. Let's start off with this.
So if I'm going to zoom in then, and then we can really enjoy.
Let me get that central there. There we go. So this one has got one of the large butterflies stamped, and then the small die cut.
It's really over the top, isn't it?
And that's been cut. The die cut's been cut in half, and then it's glued down.
So it gives it the natural.
So you've got a natural lift, on a stenciled background. That's beauty. Who did Sheila Metzler did that one?
That's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, there'll be a picture of that on Clarity Worldwide. I know Sheila put hers up last night.
Super.
That's lovely. Now this is cool.
Oh,
it's completely different, isn't it? And if you look at it, it's the floral, the bouquet.
Oh,
butterfly.
Do you want to bring that in on the other side? If I come around that way for you to bring that one on to the left.
There we go. It's this stamp here, but actually they've been stamped the other way round.
Top and tail, isn't it?
So you've got almost a circle.
Yeah,
isn't that pretty?
That's really clever. I like that
almost
idea.
makes a wreath.
Yeah, or an egg. Happy Easter.
Yes. Yeah. But I just thought that was such a brilliant idea.
Nice,
that's so clever.
Yeah.
So clever. If you're more into your arty grungy, that's the lovely thing about these. They work on all levels.
I think the style,
regardless of style.
Yeah.
Your style. They're really versatile. So again, that's the floral, the bouquet butterfly, done again and stamped on the heart.
Yeah.
Backdrop stamp.
Backdrop stamp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's duly done. That's cool. Oh, look at this rainbow.
Now, when we look at this one, there isn't a solid surface stamp in the collection.
No.
Is there?
No. The mask.
The mask's done it, exactly.
Because
in each of the stamp sets, you get your mask, don't you?
Yeah.
So look, there we go.
For the butterfly. So if you want to create something like this, you just need the outer part of the mask and stick it down.
Yeah.
The other option, if you is of course you can use the solid surface die to cut it into a piece of scrap card and make yourself a stencil.
Yes.
So you've got either option there as well. But these masks are brilliant for doing that. They're not just for covering over the butterfly, but
I think it's
for adding the colour
that lovely background
in between as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And using one of the little butterfly stamps.
And the card I blogged yesterday, which was using the bouquet stamp, because the wings are in 2 halves.
Yeah.
I struggled a bit with placement.
Right.
You could stamp the body first, but actually what I did was put the mask down first.
Right.
Created my background, and then I had an edge to follow to then stamp my wings into. So that's the other really helpful thing. Yeah, I stuck that on the Facebook page yesterday.
I suppose like that little piece of artwork there, isn't it? That's what's been done.
Well, that's exactly. It's the same principle. So having got your background down, you can then just stamp into the space
with your imagery,
and you've got an outline to line it against.
Very nice. I like that.
Next one in is a lovely stencil background, just using one of the stamps. Oh, sorry.
You want to get closer, don't you?
Yeah, I do. But actually using the little accent stamps
for the body.
Off here for the body as well, instead of the actual body piece. So the sentiment. That's cool,
really
isn't it?
Yeah. Who was
Yeah,
that one?
Andy Duggan.
Andy.
That's good. This next one's Tina Morris. Lovely craft. And a bit of
Gold embossing on there.
I don't think it is embossing, it's smooth.
I wonder whether it's like a Versamark.
Oh, you
with,
know, it is.
mica powders.
It's mica powders. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's just that hint of gold against craft is just
Yeah.
beautiful. Let me see if I can
And
get
all
it
the
to
art, the
shimmer.
designs we're
There we
looking at
go.
here, this, although these have been done with the smaller stamps, you can repeat exactly the same layout.
Oh, definitely.
With the larger ones, can't you?
Definitely. That's another one just done with a lovely background, and then 2 halves
Yes.
of the butterfly. And so that's the other thing. You don't need to use the same matching wings. You can you can mix and match them, which takes us on to this little beauty, which is a Debbie McMullen.
This is right. I love the colours
on
on
this
this
one.
one.
So fabulous, isn't
and
it?
the love has just been highlighted, hasn't it?
Yes. Yeah, yeah. Just picked out in the teal.
Yeah.
But that is just so pretty. And we were talking earlier, weren't we, Paul? Depending which words you want, you can decide which half of the stamp you want to use. So flower, beauty, grace, love, elegant, pretty, rose on this side, summer, blossom, nature, joyful on that side. So pairing it with one of the others.
With the other, either the bouquet or the leafy swirl.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Just really
nice.
pretty. Really pretty. And then last but not least on this one, look at that for a bit of heat embossing. You know I love a bit of heat embossing.
It's classic, isn't it? It's
so,
gold on black.
And that's on coated card.
Black coated card,
yeah. And then they
lovely?
used one of the wings to actually make the border as well. And then just a bit of gold card.
I'm guessing that's probably from the larger one, isn't it? I reckon
yes.
that's the larger
Yes,
stamp.
that's the larger stamp. You're right, because of the flowers. Yeah, that's Linda Spencer.
Very nice.
Brilliant.
So that's just a couple of things, isn't it? What you can do with the stamps, where you can combine the die cuts on as a topper, rather than, so they don't have to be 3D, do they?
No, not at all.
So you can use them as great little tags as well.
Yes.
Wouldn't they? They'd make lovely tags on there. And then we'll just have a look at a couple of pieces. Oh, I've got to do that one. And that one.
I was stood in here with the box of samples this morning, going through it, going, and that one, and that one, and that one. Paul goes, we're going to spend the whole hour just going through samples. Well, that's fine. I don't need to do the demo.
There we go. So I'll give those to you. Do a look on the overhead again.
This is neat and clever. So this is a die cut. In fact, it's several die cuts. It's the large solid butterfly, the pierced butterfly, large, and then the small pierced butterfly over it. Okay. But it's been turned into, it's a card, a little note card.
Oh. And it stands up as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. By someone. Deb McMullen. But so that'll stand up.
Yeah. What if we come in on this camera? And then you'll need
which way do I need to get? I'm terrible at this camera. I'm so sorry, friends.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh,
isn't that cute?
Zoom out a little bit. I can just stretch over.
We just get that out of fraction.
There we go.
Isn't that so sweet?
That's really clever.
But just a really quick and easy little card.
Yeah.
Lovely. Love it. Love it. But then you can use them on. So that's quite a simple little die cut, making a card. This one, once it's in frame and you can see it.
I like this as a wrap around the card.
It's such a nice thing. So it's been cut in half.
Yeah.
But not only, but also
pops out. Pop out. I love that idea. There's a bit of construction there, isn't there?
Yeah. It's fabulous. That's Tina Morris.
And
so layers of the butterfly. So lovely. You can really go to town with these.
This is also great for, I mean, I know from working with you, Deb, you've got boxes of scraps and bits and pieces. So you could do this in the large, you could do it in the small. Yeah,
definitely. Definitely. Good way to use up various pieces. Particularly if you just use half of it, then you don't need and not got such a big piece.
Yeah.
You know, to pop half on. Or talking of using up small pieces of card and scraps, how about this
zoom
one?
Out on it. No. Look at that. This is magical.
This is Tina again. What she's done actually, it's a bit of an optical illusion, but it's an aperture cut into the card.
Oh, so using the solid.
The solid has been, well, maybe even the pierced one was cut into the card.
Okay, I'll zoom out on that one.
Maybe even the pierced one, because these black pieces are stuck on. So you could use that one to cut out your aperture, save the bits, and then add the bits on over the top. But this background is woven strips.
Paper weaving.
Yeah. If I open it up on the inside, you can really see that.
Even that's pretty, isn't it?
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Such a fantastic effect.
I love that look.
So clever. That is so clever.
Really nice.
And then back to a bit more heat embossing. This is silver on the black.
That's on parchment as well, isn't it? So you can stamp
on
parchment.
It's the black parchment.
Yeah. So you can stamp on parchment. So even if you're not into your groovy, parchment is fantastic for stamping onto. Barb's done it so many times.
Yep. They work on the stamp board.
Yeah.
For a little topper, and then you've got it stamped in the background as well. The mask has been used to brush the background out, but lovely and soft. Just a
really nice,
soft,
isn't it? That's like kiss stamping, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Kiss stamping.
It is. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Really nice. Using the wings to make backgrounds. We saw the frames done with it earlier. This one.
The leafy one.
The leafy background, and then just one of the wings stamped in. That's so effective.
That's nice. And you can see there's no colour behind that, so that would have been stamped and masked off, wouldn't it?
That's right.
Using the mask that comes with the stamp set.
Yeah. That's Andy Duggan again. What about this one from Sarah Brennan?
That's nice.
Because
very sort of arty, isn't it?
It is. But also, look.
Yeah.
It's cool, isn't it?
I like that. I love the two different colours. It's as if it's got like a texture, but it isn't. It's the whatever she's coloured in
she's
with.
Coloured it in.
Nice.
It's really lovely. That might have been done with Pergo colours, I suspect. Yeah. Oh, yeah, markers. That's been done with markers. Yeah.
Nice.
Really, really neat.
And then really sort of
to the opposite end.
Look at that.
But that's the leafy butterfly.
Yeah.
Stamped on, and I'm guessing that's that's Andy Duggan as well.
Some stencils in the background.
Yeah, stencils, bit of ink, bit of heat embossing on there.
Yeah,
lovely.
Partial, isn't it? Partially
embossed.
Nice.
So you just put ink on part of the stamp.
Yeah.
Then to do that. Another one with a frame, which is oops, sorry, I took that out of focus. Julie Dunn.
This is nice. So she's masked off the central panel and then put the pattern around the outside.
And she's also masked off the created the background for the butterfly with the mask that comes with it.
Yeah.
And then these next couple are just fabulous.
These are the ones I kept going back for.
Yeah.
I'm going to zoom in on this one now. Look at that. So this is the bouquet butterfly. It's available in the large or the small. This is the large one.
I love this one.
But it's also in this collection as well.
So this is Jane's, I think. Yeah. So what Jane's done is put the mask down.
Yeah.
And then stamped. That's the Ocean Swirls, I think, mixed impression texture stamp background in a neutral colour.
Yeah.
And then has coloured in and shaded all these wonderful flowers.
Lovely colouring
just to make it pop,
aren't they?
So that's the full-on colour, or you can go monochrome.
I love this. That's why I had to go back for that one as well. It's a real comparison.
This is D.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's basically the same technique, but just colouring it in monochromes, greys and blacks, and a little hint of lemon in there. And Dee's used one of the flowers out of the stamp set to fill in the background that goes with the bouquet. So this flower here is stamped all over the background to create that background.
Isn't that nice?
Lovely.
Very soft and subtle. Yeah.
But I mean, when you think about it, they are essentially the same design.
Exactly the same stamp, aren't they? Yeah.
But the same card layout and design.
Yes.
But completely different effects.
Different look. Love that. Okay. So there's some artwork to tease you with and tempt you with. And then, so we've spoken about the double points on all baskets over £50. We've got
a kaleidoscope of butterflies.
Let me just bring a couple of these
I have to show you this box and show
so we're going to go to the overhead on this, and then we'll zoom in on there, and then Debs can show you off these. Look at that.
That's lovely. So again, solid base die cut, the pierced die cut in the same colour, and then a parchment one on the top with
really nice. Looks
Oh,
like
it's
not oh,
Posca
what's it?
pen.
No, it's got some raised.
Yes,
I
it
reckon
has.
that could be the Pebeo acrylic
Oh,
paint
I
we
know.
do. We've got
Yes,
the Pebeo
yes.
acrylic paint.
Yeah, but that's lovely.
Really
That's
nice.
a bit like one of Elvis's jumpsuits, isn't it?
Yes, it like rhinestones.
Yeah. That's gorgeous, but it's pearlized. It's like it's covered in pearls. Really
Yeah.
lovely. And then this little box from Sheila, which I know she popped on Facebook yesterday. So a pop-up box that is just covered in butterflies
So
around the
nice.
sides.
And again, just using
Simple,
offcuts.
just pieces of card,
Yeah.
solid one underneath and a pierced one on top for all of them. Mixing and matching the designer paper. So if you've got little bits of designer paper,
Yeah,
and
that's
covered the
using
box
one of
with
our
it.
cube boxes, I reckon.
Yep,
I
I
reckon
think it
she's
is.
chopped the bottom
She
off.
has chopped up. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That's just fabulous.
And then we've got one of the parchment ones. So I'm going to bring the details in for the groovy plates. Look at that.
So this one's embossed. You've got white work on the. This is clear parchment with white work and just a little colouring.
That's all it needs. It really doesn't need much,
no,
does it?
And then just the layer of companion paper behind it.
Yeah. And then this
It's
is
really
one from
lovely.
Jane, wasn't it? As a comparison in the size.
Yep. So you've got another look at the sizes there for the two dies.
Yeah.
The two sets. And this is lovely because this is just layered up.
So there's a groovy design
She's
in the
put
background.
the groovy in on that one.
Yeah.
With all the words. And then designer paper on the back.
To give it the stability.
So that one's got 3 layers. And then she's also used the groovy to make the little stand.
Nice.
With the hearts
which
down
is all
the
on the plates in this collection, which is item number 42112.
That's so beautiful.
And then I've just got to show this one from Glynis. Look at this. Wow.
That's fabulous.
That is absolutely gorgeous.
I'm absolutely in love with
that.
This
Would be on my wall.
butterfly.
That wouldn't be. I would have to put that on the wall. No, that is absolutely gorgeous.
But if you're thinking about, we're heading into wedding card season.
Yeah.
We talked about butterflies as table decorations and things, but cards for weddings. I mean, these are just glorious.
And I think because that you could go stick them on as a topper with the 3D movement, I think it just gives it that really extra special look, doesn't it?
Definitely.
So
definitely.
Right. So you're going to do a demo or two or three for us.
Yeah, we better crack on then.
We'll get three. We'll get three done.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Well, this first one, I think I might have had a slight out-of-body experience with it.
Why?
People who know me will be a bit surprised.
Okay.
There is no stamping or inking on this card.
Right. Okay, so these are our downloads that we have available on our website. And so it tells you the time and date of the show, what the project was called, what has been made, and then what products we use to create this lovely project. If you go to our Catch Up and Craft section on the website, then you'll see all of our previous Clarity Social TV shows. And then if there is demos like Debs is doing today, we've got 3 demos in this hour and 3 hours when we're back at 2.
No, 3 demos in 1 hour.
3 hours.
Blimey. Thought I won't go home tonight.
We're going to go, no.
3 hours. Well, it could be if we keep talking.
At 2 o'clock, haven't we?
Yeah.
Still with butterfly and birds. So it's all about wings, isn't it?
It
is. So they're all on there. You can shop ahead on that. It's all in the Clarity Social TV button page. Everything that you're doing in all the different collections, individually, all the ink pads Debs has used, all the paper, the cardstock. It's all there. So if you're thinking, oh, I like that one, I haven't seen that one before, just go to the show page and then you'll be able to see everything that Debs has used. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Debs now.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so we're going to make a 3D butterfly.
Yeah.
That's quite easy. Using, do you want to plop onto the, that's it. Okay. There we go. Using companion papers and parchment.
That's lovely.
Which just gives they give the wings such a lovely flutter.
It gives it the translucency, doesn't it?
Yeah, really nice. But you'll see my solid butterfly is coloured both sides. But our companion paper is now single-sided.
Single-sided.
And it's the same colour both sides. So let's have a look at what I did.
Right, yes, definitely.
Oh, it sounds like Blue Peter. I worked out that you can cut the large solid butterfly die out of half a sheet of companion paper. So this is a piece of the 8x8 companion paper that I've cut down to 4 inches deep.
Yeah.
Okay, and it just fits on there nicely.
It was obviously designed to do that, Deb. You
Perfect.
do know that.
Of course.
Value for money to get 2 out of it.
The only thing I thought was sometimes if you're sending these or want them to stand a bit more, it's nice to have it on card. These papers are good quality, but actually cardstock just makes it a bit more robust.
Yes.
So how was I going to do that? Well,
stick it onto a piece of card.
You could do, but then you've got white underneath. How do you match the colour?
True. Yeah.
So actually, if you just take a single sheet of you've cut your companion paper into half.
Yeah.
I think I'm using too many words here. Actually, must be a simpler explanation.
It's Friday.
Cut it in half, and I glued the 2 halves together.
How did you? I mean, I know you said you've glued it together, but obviously, I mean, if you was to use Pritt stick,
and we got that on the website.
We have indeed. It's on the show page in the 2 different sizes.
Anybody use Dunbar's collage?
This is great because
this is the same technique.
Because it gives you, it will stick everywhere, won't it?
Yes.
Whereas if you're using like a liquid glue or something like that, with liquid glues, it can cause buckling.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you could use the double-sided adhesive sheets, but that's quite thick in itself, isn't it?
It is, and I didn't want the additional thickness because you've only got so much of a gap for the butterfly body to sit in. If you get too thick, it won't squash in and it'll distort your base.
Yeah, and I suppose with the double-sided adhesive sheets as well for this purpose, once it's down, it's down.
Yeah. So I'm using Bob's collage technique. So starting at the middle of the paper and just pushing the Pritt out. Probably teaching my grandmother to suck eggs here, but
no, see, I wouldn't have thought of doing that. I would have thought of, to give it stability, I would have gone down the road of putting it onto a piece of card, but I probably would have gone for the tape runner, which wouldn't give me full coverage.
Yeah.
So you've got that possibility that it's sort of flap at the ends, so to speak. Or if I used a wet glue, I wouldn't have used the wet glue because it would just buckle the paper. Right, so I've glued that. Yeah. And then I'm simply going to, it's quite useful to have it on a contrasting background so you can see the edge of this paper. Yeah. And I'm going to glue that over it. Okay. Now, the other thing you could say to me is, well, why don't you just cut 2 butterflies, Deb, and glue them together? Yeah, why didn't you just cut 2 butterflies, Deb, and glue them together? I'm glad you asked, Paul. It's difficult to line the edges up. Yeah. And I wanted an exact match on my edge. And you know what it's like when it's hard enough. At the best of times, lining stuff up and getting it exact. And actually, thank you, if I can swap my gluey paper out. For a cutting piece. Thank you. If you look at this closely, actually, my edges aren't. I'm going to come in close. So come in. My edges on my paper aren't bang on. Let it just focus. Come on, camera. There we go. There you go. Look, I'm slightly off there. You can just see I've got a slight white. Potentially, if you cut out 2 butterflies, you would get that. You could potentially get them misaligned. Whereas if you look at this one, it actually looks like it's just a piece of card. Yeah, with a white core to it. Yeah. Yeah. So, having done that and let it, I would say let it dry. Okay. But we'll cut it anyway. Yeah. We will if I can get my die off the table. I would, sometimes I freestyle when I'm die cutting and just line it up if I've got a big enough piece. But this is, you haven't got a lot of margin on this. No. Oh, one of your favourite products, low-tack tape. You with me? We have that on the show. Deb's often, when she comes in and tops up on her supplies, she goes for a pack of 4. I do. And the item number for that is 31212. Okay, so I've stuck him there. Yeah. So I know he's not going to shift through the die cutting machine. Okay, because I haven't got wiggle room. Yeah. On this. Okay. Right. Let's do it. This is the hard part now. Okay. Sandwich.
Talk
Yep.
us through the sandwich, Paul, if you
Okay,
would, please. You
so
are
we've
the
got the kit and
expert.
caboodle, and we've only got a few of those left in stock. So obviously you use die cutting machines, so you know it's a sandwich combination. So what we do is we have the thicker plate, which is the 5mm. So that's what we're going to cut into. We tend to put a poly bag on there, which I think there was one. Did you remove?
No, I haven't touched it.
Okay,
Honest.
let me grab you a poly
Honest,
bag. Because what the poly bag does is, if you was cutting this out of black, for example, the fibres of the black card can cut into the mat.
That's right.
And then you come to do a white piece and it can transfer the fibres. So what we're going to do, so we've got the base plate there. We've got our pocket bag, which is, I've just cut the pockets off so it doesn't catch in the machine. Then we're going to have our piece of paper face up, which that way, the way it had it. Paper's face up that we want to cut, and then the die is face down.
Yes.
Then what I tend to do, because this comes with a magnetic shim and it can have fibres on it, piece of copy paper just to protect your artwork.
Done.
Then your magnetic sheet, which is a shim, and then finally your 3mm. Now, some people say you go 3mm down. I could just take it the way exactly as it comes and just run it through the machine. I've never had any problems with it cutting out. So we've got the kit and caboodle on the show. So the item number for that is 31557. It's £169 plus your club discounts plus double points. Okay, yeah, double points. So if you're a non-club member, that'd be £169.99. So you'd get 170 points plus you would get another 170. So
lovely.
There we go.
So there we go. I've now got a die cut butterfly, but it's double-sided.
And it's scored as well, isn't it?
And it's scored and it's perfectly edged.
I love that. That's a great tip. I say, isn't it funny how sometimes you see something being done and it's so obvious and you think, well, why have I never done that before?
I know. I'm just going to stick those under there so I've got a bit of room. Okay. Oh, no, I need them back. Because actually, I would leave this to dry.
Yeah.
Actually, a bit before I discovered when I was making my sample one. So here's one I did earlier. I've got purple one there.
Nice.
And then I've done the same again, but I've got parchment. So I use the Toscana parchment.
That's lovely, isn't it?
And I've just cut a piece. These are really good for the brightly coloured.
Yes.
Paper or parchment. The really vivid ones.
Ones that you're not sure about.
How am I going to use that in a background? Particularly for some of the designer paper. I look at it and I stroke it and I think it's so beautiful. But then sometimes the backgrounds you want the paler ones or the ones that have got a paler bit in the middle that you can frame. These gorgeous colour saturated ones are perfect for die cutting and more intricate work because they colour
butterflies like this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I then have just run the pierced butterfly, the second die, through the embossing machine, and then they will overlay.
Excuse me.
So what I would do, all I would do, when these fold.
It's coming close on this one.
Sorry, I keep moving about. For them to sit in the holder, you fold it in the middle across like that. And actually, if you wanted to make that lovely little card, that's where you stop. That's it there. But then if you just crease the wings back, there's a second school line either side to crease the wings back so that you get it on 3D.
Nice. Yeah.
Same on your parchment. So your parchment will be scored as well, which makes it very easy to fold. But before I push it right through, I'm just going to glue this parchment on. I'm going to glue it down the body.
Okay.
Perga glue.
Yeah.
It's great. It doesn't show through parchment, but it's fantastic for the card as well. I'm hoping this is going to run. I didn't check it before it came on there. Note to self.
Might have had a sticky nozzle.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. You don't need a lot. Not least because you don't want a mayonnaise. You don't want mayonnaise effect.
But if you were trying to do that on the butterfly, to get the two colour tones, you'd go through a lot of wet glue.
Yeah.
But you would never get it completely smooth again, would you?
So actually, again, I've got contrast paper underneath so I can see my card clearly.
Yeah.
Let's just smooth that down, then wait for it to, then we'll leave that to dry.
Doesn't take long to that. I mean,
it's really cool.
Parchment is non-porous, so it would take a little bit longer as if you was using paper or card instead. But it's a matter of moments, isn't it?
Yeah, and then once it's dried, you can crease it in again. Actually, I was thinking we could give this one away, Paul.
You want to do a giveaway?
Yeah.
Okay, so
make it worth people turning up.
Okay, so what word are we going to go for?
I don't know. Flutter.
Flutter. Okay.
Can you type that? Actually, you could go flutter purple or flutter pink, deciding which one you prefer, and then people have got a choice. You only need to pick one, but then people get the one they want. Sorry, am I over compliment?
Normally just one word. Just makes
pink or purple.
Pink or purple. So type, everyone's right. So put pink or purple, and then what we'll do at the end of the show, we will choose a name at random, and it'll be on. We'll pop it in the post, and it'll be flying its way to you very, very soon. Okay.
So let's talk about the stand. So I did the same thing basically for the stand, except I just an offcut of a contrast card paper and a scrap of stencil card. I've got a whole box full of this.
Of course you have.
So I did the same thing again, and I glued them on top of each other, and then I die cut it with the third die, which makes your stand. So this one's in pale blue, backed on white.
Okay.
And again, you've got the slot in the middle, and then you've got a score line here across, which means again, let it dry, and then you can fold it down the score line.
Okay. And the slots are different sizes either side, aren't they?
They are. So actually, I don't know if you can see here. Yeah, look, you can just see here. There we go. Look, you can see white through the slot there.
Yes.
And that's because this front one is deeper than that back one.
Yeah.
If you put it on with the small slot at the front, you'll have your butterfly will sit flat, which is fine because that might be what you want.
Oh, I see. So yes.
Do you see?
Yeah.
Hang on, let's go that way. Okay. One day I'll learn these camera angles. Do you see? So he sits flat there as like he's settled.
He is, yes.
Yeah. But if you put it in the other way round with the deeper slot at the front, he's on an angle.
He's taking flight.
And he's taking off.
That's lovely, isn't it?
Which means if you've got him sat on a table, you can actually
you
can see him
you've
because
got
you're
that
looking
facing
down on
you
him.
then, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's one of the things I love about this particular. I mean, you may think it's quite simplistic in design, but when you look at what you can do with it, whether you're just going for the dies and maybe you're just using it to use up all your scraps and stuff like that, but when you combine it with the stamps as well, there's so many different combinations, isn't there?
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely. And depending, they all look so different according to the parchment and card color you put underneath.
Yeah, and where you've die cut it, whether you've done the large, whether you've done the small. But I love that technique with the Pritt stick and the two pieces of paper together to give that a little bit more stability to it.
It makes it thick, so it feels like card now rather than paper.
Yeah.
But sticking them together first means you get a really precise die cut without trying to line up two pieces.
Yeah, obvious now. Everyone at home has had that light bulb moment. Yeah, of course it is. So, and the Pritt stick, I mean, who knew that Pritt stick would be so popular?
I know. I use it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, Barb used it in the collage courses. Yeah. Talking about the collage courses, so many of you may have done last year the lovely canvas boards, the 12 by 12, the online workshop with Barb. We did it at the summer retreats last year. We did the cottage. We did, didn't we?
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Summer retreats. Then Barb decided it was like addictive. I need to do some more designs. So it was the viaduct and the lighthouse. So there was 2 online workshops, which are still available on the website. And then earlier in the year, Barb said, you know what, this would be so much quicker if we had a die.
Yeah.
Okay. So we took those designs, Barb and Jazz took the designs from the original 12 by 12, made them into 6x6 dies, and we launched these at the beginning of May. It was the first Sunday of the month, and at a special price, and which will change at the end of
So
this.
I was going to say, so they're still on the May offer.
They're still on the May offer at the moment. And then Barb said, and then people said, oh, we want to do, this would be great to do a workshop on, an online workshop, because although the end result is the same, the techniques are slightly different. But there's so many more benefits with the die because you can cut out different materials. Felt is beautiful. Imagine trying to cut 3 pieces of felt out and doing that in the traditional way.
I totally agree.
Yeah,
totally agree.
So
actually, I did one with the dies that I just embossed it. I put a shim in.
Yes.
And I embossed it into card rather than cutting it.
Yeah, that you did it in white, didn't you? I remember that one.
Black and white.
So let me bring up some details while Debs is having a sort out. So if you're interested in the, So if you're interested in the brand new Countryside Collage die cutting landscape online workshop with the lovely award-winning Barbara Gray on Wednesday, the 25th of June. It's from 1 o'clock till 5 o'clock, but we do know with Barb, it may go a little bit further than 5 o'clock. The item number for this is 60224. It's £30. There's no further club discount. And this is, the £30 is for the course. So nothing else is included in that, because we know many of our friends had already bought the die.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until Barb was demonstrating and they said, oh, but we want to know more. We want to know more. So Barbara always listens.
Yep.
And so that's what we launched. And that was launched exclusively on Wednesday in the final 1, 2, 3 landscape course.
Okay.
And then we sent out, then afterwards, we told all our other friends at home, we put it on the website. Barb shouted about it last night. So it really is. And one of the things with our online workshops, as you know, Deb, is that once you purchase that, you've got the keys to that classroom. And you can go back and watch it again and again and again. If you can't join in live, it's available afterwards.
That's brilliant. I've been doing the landscape course with Barb, but I've worked although I'm retired, I've worked full time for the last 2 weeks, and I haven't been able to do them on the Wednesdays. And so my sister and I have been getting together because she bought the landscape course as well, but she teaches. And we're getting together at a weekend and catching up with the course, which is just lovely.
And Barb, on any of our 1, 2, 3 courses, we always record it first.
Yeah.
So you've got that one that you can go in and watch, and then you can go back in and watch the live one as well.
Yeah.
So in a way, I mean, Barb's ones, they were meant to be 2 hours on the original ones, but I think it was probably about 3, 6. It was about 8 hours during the live. Plus, you've then got the number of hours in the. So it's not
across the 3 cards. It's not 8 hours in one.
No, not in one.
Before everybody faints at home.
Over the 3 different modules with the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I mean it's really good, and it's great value when you think about it.
And it means anywhere in the world.
Plus, you can pause it and catch up, and then or go, oh, hang on, I missed that bit. That didn't go quite right. Rewind a bit. Do it again. Ask me how I know. Yeah, you can do all of those things.
So it's great, and I think for that £30, the value that you get for it, it really is worth it.
Popped down to see Sue this morning and got my order in. I've already bought it.
So, okay, so let's go back and look.
Sorry, there's one more thing about this little butterfly, which is that you might want to put, it's nice to put a sentiment on it, or just a.
Yeah.
So I used one of the pinky grey word stickers on here. However,
the design team didn't get our brand new rub-ons. Okay, so let me bring up the details of these, because these were so popular on, let me have a look on my item number 9.
And they will work perfectly on these.
There we go. So this is a special offer. Again, this will change at the end of the month. Item number 70485. Basically, it's 5 packs for the price of 4. You got that £8 saving plus your club discount. Now, Barb then, this was so funny. We was doing the live shows, and Barb went, we need something to put. And off she runs. There we go. Will it go in our slow down boxes? Do you know, slow down boxes we've sold as a result of that.
That's brilliant.
But once
I love
these have
these
gone,
actually. They're such lovely quality boxes.
I saw something on, I'm not sure if it was Facebook. One of our customers have got a collection of
Oh,
it,
yes,
and
it
they've
was
put
on
the
Facebook.
index, it wasn't it?
Yes,
Indexing
they'd
of all the
index
different
little
'cause Barb
pictures of
does the
what was in.
same. Yeah.
I've got a boring old label printer.
Okay, so Debs is going to have a play with my.
I am. I've had one go. I had one go before we went
Okay.
live on air.
So, what are you going to go for? Do you want to go for
Find me something.
friendship?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go
Christmas?
friendship.
Let's go friendship. There we go. So, in each of these packs, maybe you've only seen them for the first time. They come in a pack. Let me just zoom out on there. And you get their A5 sheets. You get them in black, gold, and white. And the reason we brought them out in the Pergamano brand is because often when you're working with parchment and you want to put a lovely sentiment on there, even with a groovy plate, it can look a little bit strange. Not strange, but not as classic. When you look at the stuff that Francis Knott does with that lovely gold work.
Yes.
I haven't got a steady hand. I couldn't do that. So this is perfect for your parchment as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's lovely, and lovely having choices, and the ones with the boxes around as well. I saw what you were doing on Monday's shows with just rubbing them straight onto an offcut of companion paper.
Yeah.
And with that box, just looks so perfect.
So professional.
But what I was really impressed with was how flat they are, and as you'd said on Monday, you don't get that edge around them.
No, like a halo.
Like a sticker. That's it. Yeah.
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 Okay.
So.
No pressure, Debs. I know you've only done it once.
I've done it once before. This is the second time ever. What am I doing?
Right.
So, a good idea of yours to cut them out separately rather than trying to just use a bit off the whole sheet.
Yes.
Then you're not going to damage any of the others. They've got this lovely little carrier sheet. You obviously don't need that. The nice thing is, because they're translucent, you can line them. You can line them up. You did talk on Monday, didn't you, about you could pop a bit of low tack tape down if you wanted to, but I'm going to freestyle it. What the heck? In for a penny and for a pound. Bit of a rub with your finger just to get it. It'll just grip.
Yeah.
It won't go down completely, but it does grip. And then the Pergamano hockey stick. So we've got a lollipop in the.
It comes with a lollipop
pack.
stick. If you lose your lollipop stick, you can buy more lollies if you wish to. But the hockey stick, I found it was so much easier.
It's really good. You can really get good pressure on it.
Yeah.
And then, so you're just rubbing it, basically. And Jane's going to be working with these on the open days.
She is, yes. Well, this time next week we'll be at the open days. It'll be full flow. Can't believe that. How mad is that?
We'll be coming up to second raffle.
Oh, yes, it'll be coming up to 10 to 11. So, yeah, Barb will be getting ready to jump up on that chair. I know we've got many friends joining us next week, either on the Friday or the Saturday. Tickets are still available, but if you're undecided, tickets are also available on the door as well. So if you last minute plans, then you can do that as well. That's not a problem.
Down. The lovely thing is you can just lift it slightly and you'll be able to see if the lettering's lifting or not. As you said, it kind of goes matte.
Depends. Yeah, it depends
kind
on
of
the
dulls
colour,
down, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There we go. And then just slide your fingernail under it and then peel it off carefully so that you can see if you've missed a bit.
Yeah, because you don't want to whip it off and then realise that you've missed
still on
the F's missing or something, friends or ever. And then it's quite difficult then to reposition it.
Turn it over and just give it a good rub on the back.
Yeah.
Just to make sure everything's adhered down. See, I was listening.
There
we go.
Look, I love it.
That's lovely. It looks like it's printed on there.
It does, doesn't it? Because as you said, there's no halo to it at all.
Unlike peel-offs, for example, you don't get, it's not raised.
No.
It's completely flat. It really does look like it's printed. There we go.
Yeah.
And that sits there.
That's lovely. I mean, the lovely stickers work just
The stickers
as beautiful.
are brilliant and work really well.
Yeah. Isn't that nice?
Done.
And you've got that in gold and white as
white.
Well. So
depending
weddings
on your background,
yeah. So so if you're interested in the rub-ons, again, double points on those if your basket is over £50 between now and midnight on Tuesday.
It's lovely. So pop pop pink or purple
Yep.
in the chat.
And then we'll choose
if you want one
someone
of these.
towards
And if
the
you
end
don't
of the
want
show.
either of them, you don't have to say anything.
Yeah, keep quiet if we don't
Yeah.
want anything. Excuse me. Okay, so
Right.
should I bring up some
Okay.
details so you can get ready for the next
You
demo?
do that. That would
Okay,
be
so
good.
the next demo, let's have a look because we've got these downloads. You see, are you going small butterfly?
I'm
or
going small
butterfly?
Small butterfly next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so let's bring up some details. So there we go. You've got those double points on the screen at the moment. If you spend your basket is £50 or more. Debs was using the large version, a kaleidoscope of large butterflies, A6 stamp, mask and die collection. £20 saving, bringing it down to £51.95, plus your club discount. If you prefer to go small, then you can. The item number for that is 11594. That has a £10 saving, bringing it down to £34.95. Maybe you're not a stamper, maybe you're just into your die cutting, then we have the dies at half price. So you get the large and the small. Item number for that is 31329, £20 saving, bringing it down to 1998. If you're into your groovy, then we have the groovy plates on the show as well that will work perfectly with those dies or independently as well. Item number 42112, £15 saving, bringing that down to £34.75. Then maybe you want to give die cutting a go. As I said, we've got a handful of these left. Item number 31557, club discount plus double points if you buy it before midnight on Tuesday. And then finally, that brand new online workshop with Barbara on the live show is on the 25th of June at 1 p.m. The item number for that is 60224, and it's only £30, no further discounts, and the die is not included in that price. Okay. So, are we good to go, Miss
Cool.
Deborah?
I think so. Let's do it.
Let's have a look then.
Right, I'm going to skip through these next two demos.
Well, we can run over a
demos.
little
I'm
bit.
conscious of time,
Yeah,
but I'll,
no.
right, I'm back in stamping and inking, so I'm all
Lovely.
right. I'm happy.
Comfy slippers on.
Yeah. But this time with a die cut topper, so using the die as a topper on the card.
No, I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And stamping onto the die. So I've got a couple of tips about how to do that.
Super. I love a few
and make
tips.
it work. Okay, so this is just nice. This is the monarch butterfly out of the stamp set.
Yeah.
I have my stamp set somewhere.
I've got the printout here. Would you like to look at the printout?
This one. There we go. It's this stamp set, which is a lovely pattern and great for inking up on your stamp. So let's run through here's what I did. I cut out the solid butterfly, the small solid butterfly, just in white card. Okay, great for a off-cut scrap. Right then, let's line up my stamp. Helps if I've got it out of the packet, I suppose. Find it makes a difference.
You've only been here since about 8 o'clock. What have you been doing all morning?
Oh, it's just faffing. I had to have my breakfast. Come on.
Then catching up with Barbara. Looking at what's coming up at the open days.
A sneaky peek at new stuff.
Did you see Barb's pottery?
I did. I went and stroked her pottery
brought it
as
in
well.
for,
my days. It is amazing.
It's mad, isn't it? Barb's put pictures on social media. It does not do them justice. So for those of you that are coming to the open days, you are very, very lucky. I would say head to the pottery table with Barb immediately. Right.
Okay. Let's talk about stamping on the die cut.
Yes.
So I've put my die cut down.
Yeah.
And I've put a bit of low tack tape on it to hold it.
Okay.
Because this stamp is pretty much an exact fit on here.
Yes.
And what you don't want to happen is you die cut to move as you try and go down to stamp.
Of course.
So I bunged a bit of low cut tape across the wing.
Yeah.
Opposite side to where you're stamping, obviously.
Yeah. No, it's good to point out.
Yeah.
Just in case.
And then with a contrast colour underneath, you can see where your stamp's going.
Yeah.
Okay. And then one of the mega mounts, which you know I love. And I'm going to line it up with the central line of the mount going down the central score of the die cut.
Great tip.
Yeah, so my stamp's at one side, but that's not a problem.
Okay.
But this means I'll get it at the right width.
Yes.
Okay, right. clean and dry stamp, obviously, before you do that.
Yes.
Okay, let's have a couple of sponges. Got me sponges in my box.
Super. And you'll be using these, no doubt, next week at the open days. You're doing some lovely Build-A-Wreath.
I am. I've got the Build-A-Wreath and the elementary
stamps,
leafy stamps as well. So lots to play with. So I've got a pink and a purple.
You've been watching lovely Louise, haven't you? They're her favourite colours.
Oh, are they?
Pink and purple.
I tend to be in the blues range of colours.
Trying to get her away from pink and purple.
So I'm going to sponge it onto the stamp. Sorry, I'm off camera. Let's
zoom out a little bit, or
yeah, maybe just a tad.
There we go. Come out there. There we go.
And the great thing about this is it means you can blend colours on your stamp. So I'm using my stamp as my palette.
Yeah.
And we'll put pink in the middle. And the idea is to overlay the colours in the middle so you get more of an ombre effect. Well, that's the plan anyway. Whether or not it actually works remains to be seen. But who knows? God loves a trier. Okay. Right, so I've got that inked up. I'm going to stamp it down dry. You could spritz it if you want a bit of an effect. So that means I'm now going to line up that central line with the middle of the die cut. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, just press that down. Give the ink a few seconds to soak in onto the card, and hopefully, ta-da.
No, look at that blend.
So I've got it, but it's then centered in the right place on my die cut.
Zoom in on that so we can have a look. Look at that. That's lovely. That's really nice. Now, I know the answer, and I know you'll know the answer, but maybe some of our friends at home are thinking, okay, so you've got your die cut.
Yeah.
You've got your opposite wings.
Yeah.
Why would you not stamp them both out at the same time?
You could. I found it easy to do one at a time.
I agree. No, I totally agree.
You could. The great thing is the stamps are equal depth.
Yeah.
So yes, you could.
So if you've got a stamping platform, but because you're holding it in place.
This is difficult on a stamping platform because you haven't got anywhere to fix your card down with magnets.
Oh, is that what you have to do?
On a stamping platform, yeah.
Oh,
you'd hold your card in place.
Right.
Or to line it up, you'd be right. But if you put your card in the middle of your stamping platform, you normally put a magnet at the edge.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So it doesn't move.
Right. Oh, I see.
But you can't because you've got
no edge.
You've got no edge to it to work round. So I did it 1 and 2.
Yeah, no, I would do the same because I'd be worried about putting the pressure on one side, and then you would get it. Maybe you get a little wobble or something like that, and then I would do them individually. But it's possible that some of our friends at home may be thinking, well, you got the opposite stamp, why not do it at the same time? But
yeah,
that's why.
Interesting. I put the colours on that one the other way around. So I put the pink in the centre and the purple at the outside. This one I've done purple in the centre, pink on the outside.
Still beautiful.
But I went on and stamped the other side.
Yes.
And then I stamped the body in black archival ink. Yeah. So it looks a bit odd at the moment.
Yeah.
Because it's got a double body.
Let's come in a little bit
because
closer.
Of folding for let me shift that low tape out of the way. I'll use that later. Where am I? Yeah. Looks a bit funny at the moment.
It does. It's got 2 bodies.
It's got 2 bodies. Okay. Well, there's a solution to that.
And the reason it has 2 bodies is because you can then make it 3D.
Yes, they're the parts that fold together to go in the middle and go in your stand. But you don't want that if you're sticking it on a card.
No, because a butterfly only has 1 body.
Yeah. Guess it's a mutant.
Butterflies, no, they're beautiful.
So I cut it in half.
Yeah.
And then back to my perga glue.
Yeah.
And just dab a little down this side. And then glue one on top of the other.
And the way in which they were designed, because a lot of thought went into this. We didn't just say, oh, let's do a butterfly die. Because we wanted to have the dual purpose of not only working dimensionally, but also as a single butterfly as well, as a topper.
Yes.
So it was it sounds really weird, but real attention was paid to the shape of the
They
inner
are
part.
completely symmetrical.
Yes.
The two halves.
Yeah.
Which is great because they fold together beautifully.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, it's really easy to overlay. And because the wings are scored, you can just bend them up a little again as well. Sorry, did I make it go a bit whizzy?
And then also, depending on what you've stamped on, you can curve them, couldn't you?
Yes.
With
Use
like
a bone folder and curve the wings out.
Yeah.
But they make fantastic little toppers.
And you know what else they'd make? I've just had a thought on overdrive now. You know that like wind chimes.
Oh yeah, like mobiles and dangling.
Mobiles, yeah.
Yeah,
so
lovely.
If you've parchment, you've die cut them in parchment, and you get some of that invisible thread.
Yeah.
Or Harry, whatever his name is, some thread. And then if you've got a lovely open window or something with the light that it attracts.
That would be so pretty.
That would be really lovely.
That would be so pretty. Or they'd stick on things.
Yes. Oh yeah. You could have like if you've got a wall that I've seen it.
We'll decorate notice boards, you know,
like,
just as like
you have a picture of a butterfly. So you could have the large butterfly as a picture.
Yeah.
And then you can have the smaller ones flying out of the picture up the wall.
Away you go.
There you go.
Right.
Okay, what we're going to do next?
Back to this. Okay, look, I've pre-cut.
Okay.
I've got a 5x5 card. Because this is a small butterfly. You could do exactly the same with the large butterfly die.
Yeah.
Just scale it up on a bigger card. A piece of companion paper.
Yeah.
This is Rainbow River because the purple, I picked up the purple. Out of it, and then I figured as I was on a die cutting roll, the dots from the Doodle Frame It dies, which are really nice. I liked that. Let me tell you, my thinking. Look, there's little dots on the butterflies.
It ties in really well. So the details for that die, the item number for that is 31386. Normally £24.99. I think there's a special price of £19.99 on that as well.
Now, I wanted to put an inner embedder frame on it. If you look at this one, you can see I've got an embedded. I've got an inner frame. You know I love an embedder.
You do love an embedder.
The solid square ones are not quite the right size to sit in here, but the nested ones are. The small one.
Right. Okay.
And that's the great thing about having these as well as the solid square ones is you've got different sizes.
Yeah.
So don't just think about the inner edge, think about your outer edges as well, because they work equally well.
Yeah.
And it just gives you so much scope then for different sizes of embedders.
Yeah.
I've got another tip as well. Barb and I were talking about, you know, the usual thing about locating the edge and how you do it. And you know, I went for using a bone folder.
Yes.
And then Barb came up with the idea of using the blending nib.
That was genius. That was.
And the little nib.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant. But I was trying to do a circular one at the time and struggling a bit to get this right into it.
Okay.
Until.
Hang
on, let me just have that under here. So I've got a harder surface. Your blending nib's got another end.
It has.
So let me just rub this with a. So I've stuck my embedder in place on the front of my card.
Yeah.
Rub my tumble dry sheet across it just to make it glide more easily.
Okay.
And I said to Bob, "What do you think about using the bottom? Because it's harder.
Yeah.
A bit more solid." So she said, "Well, give it a go, Deb. Let's see what happens."
Yeah.
Look. So you hold it as you would. You're just holding it upside down. Slide in, hit the edge, and go up and down.
Oh, yes. The
great thing is it's
has so many uses.
The really great thing about this is it's angled.
Yes.
So actually, it's easier to go in with the side of it.
And I suppose because you're working in such a tight area.
Yeah.
That, I can see that really helps.
This has got a lovely that edge on it here. This angled edge is perfect for getting in there. And because it then sits flat against here, you can slide up and down really nicely.
Wow.
And then, of course, in with your groovy tool.
Okay. So now, Chris, so it's the number 2 groovy tool.
Number two
You
groovy.
can see the difference straight away. As soon as you
Yeah,
go
it really
through
sharpens it.
on the overhead on the camera, you can really see it's crisping it up. So we've had a question from the lovely Richard Gray,
Hello,
who
Richard.
will be
Morning.
travelling with his lovely wife down to our open days next Friday and Saturday. He's asked, do you get double points on the 1, 2, 3 classes? Any of the 1, 2, 3 classes, you will get double points on if they're purchased between now and midnight on Tuesday. So anything on the website, basically, double points.
That's brilliant. So I've got my inner frame now.
Yes.
Yeah, just glued these together, popped them, taped them together and popped them on the card.
Yeah.
I added the little sentiment from the set.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. The rub-ons would work perfectly.
Yeah. I'm rubbing on everything at the moment.
It's more information than I needed, Paul. Thank you very much. Sorry, so sorry. Sorry, everybody.
I walked into that one.
The only other thing is the antennae.
Yes.
On here. Oh dear, do you know, I'm so sorry, friends. I'm rubbish at staying in shot. So what I did was lined this up. Let me do it without all the extra layers that aren't glued together, and I might have a hope. I lined this up where I want it to sit because it's quite nice it coming over the edge a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, and just put myself a pencil dot at the top.
Okay.
Yeah, because obviously this hasn't got antennae on it.
No.
And it looks a bit sad without his antennae, like some small boy's been cruel to it. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
No.
Right, okay, let's pick up my antennae on this black archival ink.
Okay. They'd fit on the stamp pens.
They would.
Little antennae.
I'm trying to wipe that mark off here. It's my dot.
You've just put it on there.
I've just put it on there, I know. So I've got my dot there to aim for. So I'm going to pop the base of my antennae at the dot. Like that.
Yeah.
And then when I glue my butterfly down, it's got antennae.
Perfectly positioned.
So you just make sure then that you pop the body. You just line it up
where
again.
you've just stamped.
Yeah, and that's how I got that on there.
Very nice.
So you can just line it up over the bottom of the antennae.
Yeah.
Bit of perca glue on the back of here.
Yeah.
Which gives you that little bit of wiggle room.
Yeah.
I would do that after I've
That'd be your
stuck
last,
the layers together. That would be the last thing I'd do is put the topper on.
There.
Otherwise, you're trying to push down layers that have got extra bits on.
Yeah.
And then it's finished.
That's nice. You know what's also looked lovely on there? A little bit of perca glitter.
Yeah,
a little
nice.
Bit of sparkle.
Nice.
Mapping pen, sticky ink, perca glitter.
You could, with a mapping pen, you could map out the veins in the butterfly's wings.
That would be really nice, wouldn't it?
Cool.
Yeah.
Might do that later.
Okay. So we're going to go for the third and final.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm sure our friends at home won't mind us running over just a little bit. It is Friday after, but I think the sun's disappearing out there anyway. So I think that sun's on its, the rain's on its way. So let's bring up some details for you there. Now, what Debs has just shown us, she was using the small kaleidoscope of butterflies with the dies, but you could do it with the large as well. It depends on what size card you want to make. So for the large collection, item number 11593, special price is £51.95. Then if you want to go small, like Debs has, then the item number for that is 11594. Maybe you just want the dies on their own. Half price on this offer, item number 31329. If you're into your groovy, the groovy have been designed to work perfectly with those dies or on independently in their own right as well. The item number for that is 42112. Then teasing Deborah with the rub-on transfers. So we launched these on Monday. Item number 70485. It's the equivalent of 5 for the price of 4. Each pack contains 3 A5 sheets, one in black, one in gold, and one in white. Then, as I say, we've got a few of these left. The Kit and Caboodle Pro Cut, limited edition pink and charcoal. charcoal, £169.99. Everything that we're talking about here and sharing with you has double points if you buy between now and over midnight Tuesday. And then finally, if you want to join Barbara on Wednesday, the 25th of June at 1 p.m. for the next online workshop. This is the Countryside Collage Die Cutting Landscape online workshop. Item number 60224, £30. There's no further club discount on those. But all of our online workshops, you can get double points on if you purchase between now, or if you purchase from 6 o'clock last night up until midnight on Tuesday.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Super.
Okay.
Yes, you'll get double points on what you bought.
I know. I would have been down a month.
It was over £50.
It was. It's always over £50.
Just let it out of the bag there. Okay, so where are we going for our final demonstration?
Okay, I thought we'd use one of the large butterflies,
Yeah.
stamping and inking again.
Okay.
But actually, I've just left it as a feature on a blended background and tiled it. Have a look at it. I'm busy chatting away about it here.
Okay. I love
So I've just blended some ink, but I've chopped it into 4.
It's got that tile effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just stuck it on a mount. Very simple, but actually really quite effective.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got a big, a solid stamp.
Yes.
You can kind of break the image a bit. Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, looking out the window and the butterflies flying outside.
Smacked into it. Sorry.
I think we need to have a chat after this, Debs. You're a little bit.
I'll start behaving. Right. Shall we have a quick scamper through what we're doing? Okay. I'm going to. So this is a 4.5-inch square piece of stencil card.
Yeah.
Which is cut from the 4.25 inch, cut from the 8.5 by 11
stencil card. Yeah, which
stencil card. Yeah, so you can get 4 of these out of there. I find it's the most efficient way to get this size of card actually out of that bigger stencil card. I always used to use the 7x7, but I can't bear waste.
I was going to say.
I had too much in my scrapbook.
Deb's on the lightweight, so I can imagine she's probably put it in a calculator. She's probably got something on the computer that says, right, I want a square of this. What size is it best? Will I get more out of this?
I'll pay for thinking down there for dancing.
Definitely.
Right, I'm going to blend 3 colours onto this background.
Okay.
Quick, easy way to make a background. I've actually got a mixture of inks and oxides.
Okay.
For no particular reason except I wanted these colours and these were the pads I had.
Right.
But you can mix and blend them when you're doing backgrounds like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only other thing I'd say is you need to keep your stencil brushes separate for your oxides than for your inks.
Right.
Because of the chalkiness of the oxides.
Right.
If you then use an ink, a distress ink on it,
which is a little bit more oilier, I'm guessing. Not oily.
No, well, it's translucent. You'll get the chalkiness through into your ink as you're blending out of it because it'll stay on the brush.
Right. Okay.
Mine are in a separate pot, but the other thing I do is my ink ones have got dots. I'll put dots on the bottom.
Good idea.
So all I'm going to do is blend the 3 colours. This is what I find works for me. Just wipe that excess off. Okay. And then I'm just going to start at one end of the card and work down. I'm going to come down just about a third.
Okay. If you're after some stencil brushes to take advantage of that double points, then the stencil brushes are item number 30006, £24.99 plus club discounts.
And just build up as much or as little colour as you want. That'll do.
Okay.
It's looking nice and pink.
Yeah.
It's a bit paler. I'm going to turn it round because I've got ink on my paper here.
Okay.
And I'm going to come in from the other end with the green.
Yeah.
So this is peeled paint. This is ink.
Okay.
Rather than oxide, but either will work. All inks, all oxides.
You get that lovely soft airbrush, don't you?
I love doing this. Brushes. One of my favourite techniques.
Are you going to do this at the open days? A little bit of brushwork.
I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
I've been to sleep since I prepped my demo, since I did my demos for that. I'll sort that, do all the final prep on Monday.
Now, if you are coming to our open days, which are this time next week, as I said, or you're unsure about it, tickets are still available. If it's going to be a last minute thing, then you can turn up on the day. We will not refuse entry. And on the Sunday, there are 2 workshops taking place. One with Barbara, getting inky, the gel plates in play on this one on the Sunday, or parchment with lovely Linda Williams. The spaces are very, very, very limited in relation to those workshops. So if you are coming to the open days and you're thinking, oh, I don't know, I would say make that decision sooner rather than later.
So as I've blended,
Yeah.
I've done like a third with the pink,
Yeah.
a third with the green,
Uh-huh.
or maybe just over. And then I've gone in the middle
Yeah.
with my third colour, which is a yellow. But I'm working it up into the pink and into the green.
Into the green, right.
Because I want a blend rather than stripes.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I reckon that'll do.
I think what we'll do, while you're, if we hold it to camera 3,
Yeah, 2.
and then look, you'll really see, there we go, if you go to that on there.
Yeah.
And then if I'm going to come in, oh, wrong one.
It's quite subtle.
It is. But it looks a lot more vibrant here in the studio than it does on the camera.
And I will blog this one as well. So actually on the photographs, the colours come out a bit more vibrant. It looks better when you get it against the black card.
Okay.
And actually you can see I've used quite a bit of it.
You have, yeah. You going to take that bit home to keep for later?
Might do. I'd be able to use that for something. As a frame. I'd let that dry. So here's one I did earlier.
Okay.
And I'm going to then line up my butterfly. Now this time around, I did stamp my butterfly in one go.
Okay.
This is a gorgeous stamp. It's lovely. When you start working with these, you kind of see lots of detail and stuff on them. I want it to go slightly off. I want to leave space for my body, the butterfly's body.
Yeah.
I'll stamp it at a bit of an angle. Let's go interesting.
Okay.
And then I've got a mega mount and I'm just going to pick. So again, I'm lining my mega mount with the card that this etched edge. I'm lining with the, it's just, this is a 5x5 mount.
Okay.
The stamp's a wee bit bigger, but I can't get my hands around a 6x6 to stamp. I've got a little bit of stamp over, but that's not on my card. So I'll get away with it.
And I suppose also, I mean, if you could do half and half like you did in the first project, couldn't you?
You could. Let me come back in with this as I'm stamping over the edge.
Okay.
Right. Now, sometimes it can be a bit harder to ink these up.
Yeah.
With, especially if your ink pad's dried out a bit.
Yes.
And I know Barb uses this technique as well. So it's 2 ink pad technique.
Yeah.
So you put the archival on first, which will give you that kind of solid.
Yes.
Because the VersaFine is much juicier.
It takes longer to dry as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I found the first layer, if you put the layer on the stamp of the archival, the top dries faster.
They sort of interact with one another, don't
they? You can probably see that it's not quite solid black, but if I then go over it with the VersaFine, and the VersaFine, sometimes if you're stamping a big stamp just with the VersaFine, it can go a bit blistery.
Yes.
Because it's so much more juicy. It's a wetter ink.
Yeah.
But this is where you can use that to your advantage.
Yeah, especially on a over the archival. Like that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's go. See what happens.
Everyone's holding their breath.
So am I, actually. I must remember to breathe. It's not good if the demonstrator faints through lack of oxygen.
No. They've just popped downstairs.
Yes, as ever with these big stamps. Get the pressure here in the middle. Your edges will always stamp if you're down properly. Okay. Do I dare lift it off
Of
now?
course. It's a piece of card.
I know. There we go. That'll do.
Look at that.
That'll do.
That's lovely.
So that's really nice against that graduated
Yeah.
background. Okay, let's just pop in the I have to do them this way. I'm just going to
Ring
quickly.
his body.
I'll just quickly do these in the Versify.
Okay. I can't believe where this morning's gone.
Oh, it's just
already. I
disappeared,
know.
hasn't it? Completely evaporated. Right.
I think we needed to share with our friends the lovely artwork and the different combination.
Well, there was so much, and that was only a fraction of the artwork we've got with these glorious butterflies.
Yeah.
That's it, and then give them some antennae.
And you can mix and match the bodies, can't you?
You can. We were talking about that earlier, weren't we? Before we came on air.
Yeah, so you can mix and match the bodies. You can mix and match the antennae. Is it antennae or antennae? Antennae.
These.
Yeah. The swirly things.
Yeah.
The feelers.
Feelers? Oh,
feelers?
Don't know.
I don't know.
Right. Okay. So that's that.
Okay.
All right. It looks a bit, when I did that, I thought, oh, it's nice. It's really nice, but it looks a bit boring. Like, what else am I going to do with it just to zhuzh it up a bit?
Yeah.
You could just stick it on a black mount as it is, but this is where I decided to cut it into four.
Right. Okay.
Well, this is centimeters. Where am I? Okay, so I just use a paper trimmer.
Yeah.
I think it's about there. What did I say this was? 4 1/4. Yeah, so 2 1/8. So cut it at 2 1/8. I would not do this till it had dried a bit more.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
Because I'm running out of time. Okay, so we've had another question. For those of our friends that are joining us on the Sunday, we will be sending out an email probably Tuesday or Wednesday regarding the details of those workshops on Sunday. The doors will be open from 8:30 or thereabouts, and we will be sitting down about 9 o'clock to get started. We like to start at 9 o'clock, so because it's like an introduction and everything else. So I'll say any time from 8:15 onwards will be fine. I'll be there anyway.
So having chopped it into 4, and actually I've chopped it into 4 equal size squares, but you don't have to. You could do a longer one here and a
Barb's
longer
often
one at the
done
bottom
that
there,
with
so they're like
artwork,
offset
with like
tiles.
landscapes.
Yeah, it's lovely. It just adds a bit of interest. I cut a mount of black card, and then I'll just line them up, and I'd glue them.
Yes.
On this with Pergo glue because of it just lets you wiggle a bit to line them up, and then just sit those 4 like that. It doesn't. I didn't bother with a sentiment. I thought because you've got the words on the butterfly.
Yeah.
That's it.
Super duper. Wow.
Just glue them down, and then it's done.
Very nice. I think it's a lovely effect, isn't it? The tile effect. And say Barb's on with like the 5x7 where she's cut it at different pieces.
Yes.
And then re-put it back together.
Yeah.
And it makes it a completely different look.
It does.
Just like
it really
that one
does.
has.
But I just thought that looked a bit, when I'd stamped it.
Too big, too in your face.
Exactly. How do I just break that up a bit? So I broke it up.
Yeah.
By cutting it.
Right, now before we disappear, we need to choose a winner.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to pop into the chat. I'm going to scroll back a little bit.
Thanks for sticking with us, friends.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, lovely Jane, as well. Right, okay, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to scroll, and you've got to tell me when to stop.
And I will go 1, 2, 3, stop.
Stop. And the winner is Karen Gilgan, purple.
Oh, Karen, brilliant.
There we go. So that will be winging its way to you very, very soon. So thank you very much for joining us. Say thank you to the lovely Jane for keeping us and yourselves company as well. And obviously the lovely inspiration from not only the design team, but from Deborah as well. All of the products are on our claritycraft.com website. Go to the Clarity TV button. You can go to the Catch Up and Craft where you'll find all the downloads as well that Deb's taken us through. And hopefully you'll find some time to join us back at 2
Yeah,
o'clock
2 o'clock. we're
with
back.
some other butterflies
More
and
wings.
More
Birds,
wings.
yeah.
Absolutely. So enjoy the rest of your day and hopefully we'll see you later. Take care
Thanks,
now.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.